Spartans. Sergeant Major.
I'm really happy to be here, with the chief, and really appreciate everybody coming in. I'll let we'll kind of go around the room and kind of introduce yourself. There, Corporal Riley, don't look at me like that. So, Sergeant Major, that's not on the script. So appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and thanks. And I really appreciate the whole team putting this together. And sorry for the delays. The speeches were so good. We just had to wait a few minutes to get going. So we'll go around, let everybody just say who you are, and maybe where you come from. We'll just jump into some quick questions very quickly. Start with you.
All right. Good evening. I'm Sergeant First Class Jenkins. I am in 241st Quartermaster Company, 725 BSB. I am a parachute rigger, and I'm from Indiana.
Awesome.
Cool.
My name is Sergeant Anthony Gazzillo. I'm with the 3509th Infantry Regiment. I'm in Charlie Company, and I hail from Pennsylvania.
My name is Corporal Riley. I'm a part of the 6th Brigade Engineer Battalion. I'm in Elk Company, and I'm from Tennessee.
Hi everybody, I'm Staff Sergeant Rosales. I'm from Texas. I'm part of PFAR, 277 PFAR. I'm the battalion S1 NCOs.
Good afternoon, my name is Staff Sergeant Crowlin. I'm with the Military Intelligence Company with 140th Cavalry, and I'm a linguist.
Cool. And I'm the 16th Sergeant. So we're here on, literally an historic day. 78 years ago, we had D-Day, and we did it on we activated the 11th Airborne Division on this day. So we've been up with the chief flying around. So what I really want to do is ask, and I will start with Sergeant Carlin then. But what does it mean for you to what does it mean, identity mean to you?
Thanks, SMA. Yeah, I think identity is really kind of what defines us as an organization. It sets the basic outline, for who we are, what we're striving for, and what kind of values define us. Whether that be our historic legacy and our identity, if we were, with the 101st Airborne, for example, or here in Alaska, now being the Arctic Angels, which I think, really identifies well what we do, which is being America's only Arctic paratroopers.
Yeah. But when you look at Arctic Angels, you said that. What was your first thought when you heard that today? Arctic Angels.
SMA, I was pretty excited. I think, personally, I've been up here for about 3 years now, and I think identity was something that I was kind of struggling with, and to be able to get to be reorganized as something that defines kind of what we do up here, which is, jump into austere Arctic conditions. I for me, that felt a lot more fitting, and it felt like maybe, we finally found a home.
Okay, good. So what do you think about the 11th Airborne Division identity? Not just identity, but the 11th Airborne Division identity. What do you think?
Well, when I think of identity, I think of, somebody's ID card,
Your ID card. There you go. That's it. ID card. We're all starting everything right there. Okay.
So right away you look at the patch and you say Arctic Airborne, and right away you're like, where did that come from? That I've never seen that before. So when you take a look at that and you're like, wow, Arctic Airborne. I think that pretty much defines and identifies them as basically Arctic Airborne.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, just like Sergeant Carla said, it's up here it defines you, being in the Arctic and coming down, especially in the snow. It's something magical. And then just having that define us as, the Arctic Angels, it's, for me, from their past and now our present, and then moving forward to our future, it definitely defines us. It's definitely who we are. And it's great to finally have a name to, to us, instead of just being 425, we're at, 11th Airborne Division.
Yeah. So, Corporal Riley, what do you think?
Considering the history around it, I think there's a lot of significance in it, us being the only Arctic Airborne Brigade. I think that it's very important that when people look at us, they know, okay, they're a part of something big, they're a part of something major. So I'm excited.
Okay, good. So what do you think it's like for you is to transition from a soldier in Alaska and then this And first of all, it's really nice. You have like the warmest day around here. Sergeant Major, you with me? So that's good. But as you transition to be 11th Airborne Division, and how do you think that's going to affect your life here in Alaska?
My life. Oh, you were asking me or asking him?
I'm just over in this direction.
No, son, I got you.
She goes, I got you.
Honestly, it's a really great opportunity for a new beginning. I think that's what U.S. Army in Alaska kind of needs right now. There's a lot like holding us back. We've been fighting a lot of issues on every level that this new identity gives us a fresh start. It's a really good opportunity because we get to say what we're going to be. And I really like that, SMA.
Well, what do you think is like holding you back though? You kind of said this is like.
It's the pride. I think the soldiers are lacking a little bit of pride in what we were, and now we have something to be prideful of. It's just what we're gonna do with it, and that's on us to define what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I really like that. But the next thing, you know, what this unit history, what do you think as an NCO, what do you think like your roles of unit history are other than get your ID card?
Definitely live up to it and own it, reactivating it, everything that they've done in the past and everything we're going to do in the future. I think is what we need to do to keep that role, like the historic role of, you know, everyone.
Okay, and Sergeant Carlin, what do you think your role is as an NCO in unit history, especially with this unit history? You said angels. I really. What did the senator say? From angels from above.
Yeah.
11 from
Yeah,
heaven.
11
Is
from
that
heaven.
it? There you go. 11 from
heaven.
It's not that I didn't know what he said. I was listening, I swear.
Well, Samantha, I think, you know, it's important to make sure that our soldiers are aware of not only the history that's come before us and how important that is, but our place in developing the history. You know, by reactivating this unit up here and being the first and only Arctic Airborne unit, you know, I think the field is right to distinguish ourselves and to show exactly what we are capable of and how we set ourselves apart.
Okay. So, Sergeant Jenkins, you've been to other places around the world, you've been in other divisions, but now you're part of this division. You know, how does that make you feel? You're part of the 11th Airborne Division now.
So, SMA, I've been up here for 3 years, and I constantly hear the comparison of 425 to the 82nd. I grew up in the 82nd, and we're a brigade. That's a division. It's a big difference.
Yeah.
So now looking at it, you know, we're going and we're considered we're now a division, and that's a big thing to step into. And now we can fully say, you know, we have moved up. We are now a division, and we can compare ourselves. And as an NCO, we just continue to utilize what was in the past for the 11th Airborne Division, what they did then, what we're going to do now, and then continue to strive for excellence moving forward. And that's what's going to define it as far as what we do and how we leave our footprint.
Okay. Well, let's ask the 11th.
11.
I'm
The
thinking it is now.
11th
The 11th
Airborne Division CSM.
The 11th. Okay, you figured it out. The 11th Division, Sergeant Major. What do you think? You hear a lot about the 82nd. You hear a lot about the 101st. Not that I'm a member of the 101st. I am. But you're now a division. How does that make you feel? And what do you do with that? There's a lot wrapped up, and most people don't know about all the things that actually come with that. Making it a division.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, man. And it's a great point from Sergeant Jenkins about both the comparison and the movement to us being not just a division, but an operational division, all right, with a capability that's on par with every other combat formation in the Army. Now, the reality is, to address what you guys talked about in reference to 425. So I happen to have been on the field when 425 was stood up. And it was a fantastic organization who has an incredible amount of pride and history over the past 15 years or so. But it was created to fight the GWAT. That's really where it was at, okay? And we did so valiantly. You know, we lost a lot of people in it, all right? But to your point, it was time to move on. It was time to tie our identity and our purpose, all right, to something larger, all right? And that's really tying it to that heritage that belongs to the 11th, all right, to the incredible gallantry of the people that went before us, okay? You're standing on the shoulders of giants now, okay? Just the same as those from the 101st, same as those from the 82nd or the 1st ID or the 1st AD. They all have ancestors who they have to live up to every day, okay? And we have to do the same, all right? That is where we're going, all right? And then having that shared identity, okay? There's no one else in the United States Army like the 11th Airborne Division, okay? There are other comparables. It's always the same. But there's nobody, all right, trains in winter, bitter cold, all right, who will have the air assault, airborne, high mountain capabilities that we're going to have. We'll forge our own identity and have that true capability to go where we're at. So it's just a natural progression. So at least for me, SMA, it was a little bit of a sad day because, again, we talked about there, you guys all have the unique opportunity to be plank holders, all right? You were standing on the field, all right, the day the 11th Airborne Division was reinstituted, and nobody can ever take it away from you. And I said had that same with 425, but this is a natural progression where we're going. I think it really speaks to each one of your points, which is it's a great jumping off point for us to really establish what the 11th Airborne is going to be and your heritage going forward. And one day, somebody will be standing on your shoulders. That's the great thing about the United States Army. Over 200 plus years, we just continually stand on the legacy of bravery of all the soldiers who've gone before us.
Yeah. You said it's a little bit of a sad day. What do you mean by that?
Just for me to see the 425 go SMA, I mean, absolutely, there's going to be some emotions that are attached to any unit that you've seen combat with. You know, they had a tour in Iraq and a tour in Afghanistan. I was a plank holder in 3509. I was standing on the field when they stood that. So anytime you kind of see that go, there's a bit of sadness, but you have to understand, hey, we still have 1 Geronimo, we still have 3 Geronimo, we still have those battalion units, all right? But now we have a focused identity that can take us forward, all right? That can establish something a little bigger than where we're at. We're past the GWAT now. It's time for our Army to move forward.
Yeah, so the battalions didn't really change.
They did not,
Yeah,
SMA, not at all.
Yeah, so
No.
that I think that sadness when you go from, one unit to another, but in all reality, the battalions where soldiers actually live and
Yep.
thrive, they're kind of still there. And I still remember, it's a little different that, I was the last brigade sergeant major for the 4th Brigade of 101st, and we inactivated the brigade. And then we split those units up, and I was like, wait a minute, this is criminal. We're not doing that. We are not, and of course we did. But I wasn't the sergeant major of the Army, so, bring back, no, okay, we can't do that. But the good news here is that we didn't, split the battalions up. It's just reflagging with the division headquarters. That's operational. What do you think that sends the message to our adversaries when you say this is an operational division?
It's a strong message, SMA. I mean, now with 1st Corps, we now have 3 divisions, 6 BCTs with 2 operational divisions that can deploy anywhere in the world, all right? Our ability to partner across the Pacific and, all the way into the Arctic, all right, is incredible. That's probably the piece that was missing here more than anything. 425 and the 125 have had strong legacies of service, but they've never had a division headquarters here. United States Army in Alaska has been around for a long time. However, without the operational capabilities that are going to be inherent in the new headquarters, everything that we can do to empower the brigades, we just haven't been able to get after all the missions that we have, or that we wanted to. But now we have an ability to partner across the Pacific and really bind some of those strong ties that are out there. And I think that sends a huge message out.
Okay, I got to ask this really simple question because it's on my mind. We're calling you the youngest in here. Doesn't matter. Corporal.
Roger, it's a-
What do you think of the patch?
Of the patch. When I first started, of course, I didn't understand it, so it was pretty different to me. But
You know, the other one had a lightning bolt.
I mean, it was cool. It was cool. But I like this one. I like this one. Learning how we got our name, the Angels, and then just seeing it like physically on the patch. I like it. I think it's pretty cool.
Okay. What do you think about that patch?
I love seeing it. I mean, the colors, the red, white, and blue, it stands out a lot more than the red and yellow. The blue embraces the cold, and then you have the Arctic tab right on top.
Okay, I'm sticking to that. It's
Yeah.
like, we're going with that. We're going to, you know, when you just write history, Sergeant Basilio said, you know, blue embraces the cold.
Mhm.
What do you got for the red,
Somebody-
man?
I need somebody
White's
writing
the
it
snow,
down.
and red's the blood of the brothers we lost.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
it. It's done.
It's done. It's done.
If it wasn't, it is now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well
nice.
done, man.
Okay,
Take
Use
that
that
down.
for
did
battalion.
you guys
Use that from
did you
battalion.
record that? It's like, Sergeant Major, we stopped recording. No, we're good. I mean, what do you think? It's hard to top that, but I gotta ask, what do you think of that?
I love it. I love the colors. I love the wings. Especially coming down in the snow. It's something magical when you're coming down and all you see is white and like frozen.
That or
lakes.
terrifying.
You know, for me,
It's always been good so far.
One of those two, right?
Yeah.
For
Rangers
me,
gotta
SMA,
love
when
it.
when you come out,
I love it.
when you exit out the aircraft and you look down, the first thing I'm looking for is where's the snow, where's the roads. Snow is soft.
Do you have a problem in the winter of looking down and saying, "Where's the snow"?
No, you just see.
I had
you
to
know
ask,
where
you
the-
know, it's like-
Everything.
You
I
know
thought
what I'm
everything
saying.
was snow.
Wow.
It's
You
pretty much
know,
the
you
same.
know where
You
the
just gotta make
roadways
sure.
are. The
Okay,
roadways
you know where the road-
are.
Where the roads is where the ice is. at.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was
that's
going
where
to
it
question
is.
your thoughts
gotta
on
hope you got
that.
a
No,
good
so
spot.
when you come out, all you see is white, but you know where they've paved the roads, and
Yeah.
you know exactly where. So it's something magical about coming down. All you see is the mountains, snow all over the mountains, snow all over the drop zone. Everything's frozen, and it's a soft landing. It's beautiful. I think the patch.
It's like a visual
Yeah, it's a
representation
visual
of
representation of
actually
it.
do.
Yeah,
It's angelic.
It is.
It's what?
It's angelic.
Angelic. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, you got it. Are we right?
Shakespeare over here.
Sure you're not sorry, okay, so we added this little thing to it, like the Arctic. Sergeant Crawford, what do you think? Good? I mean, you already had that, but what do you think? It's all putting that together.
Well, I think it's contentious SMA.
Okay.
Just honestly speaking, you know, a lot of
No, I want you to lie. We're recording this.
so as you said, the Arctic tab has been around, and previously it was an identification of someone who had attended Arctic school, and so it was kind of a badge of honor. You know, I've been to Arctic school, so those people are a little upset because now they don't stand out anymore. But that being said, I think adding the Arctic the Arctic tab is a good idea. And the reason is because we're all up here in the cold and we're all in it together. And whether or not you've been to Arctic school, we've all been to the JPMRC, Joint Exercises up in Delta Junction, where it's -50 on a good day. So we're all birthed in the ice that is Alaska, whether or not we've attended that school. And so I think the addition of the Arctic patch is a really good one.
Okay, sounds like you just gave me more homework on, Arctic, school, and patches and tabs. I got it. I'll work on that. Okay, so, in history, you got any questions for me?
I would like to ask you, SMA, what your plans are with the 11th Airborne. Now that we are a division, we are our own, and we'll be establishing a headquarters. What did you want to do with this division?
Well, I'm really excited about the operational part of the division too, and because I'm a former first corps sergeant major, and I was like, if we maybe that was part of it. I'm saying, if we just had a division up there, so we need to be focused, but you need the headquarters to do that, and most people, even in this room, you don't know how important that is for an operational headquarters to have that identity, but more importantly, something we could utilize to deploy. To answer your question, we just don't know. But we got something we could do something with. But before, not that we couldn't do anything with you, but you couldn't do much. You could maybe say, hey, you're doing a really good job up there.
Yeah.
You didn't have the staff that you could actually deploy and do something with. So we just don't know. I hope you don't do much. I hope you just do a lot of training because I know this whole combat thing comes with a steep price. But having an operational division that's ready in the Arctic is a capability. I'm not sure that we just said the easy button. Now 10th Mountain Division might argue a little bit against that, and I am a member of the 10th Mountain Division too, so we're not flipping patches today. But having another capability in this region with an airborne unit, I think is something that our adversaries just hadn't seen yet. But we just don't know, So we got to have it. We got to get it fully manned and equipped first, and then we'll see. And that normally will be up to the combatant command. So I'm really excited about it, but just for the fact that we have a full division and everybody's associated to something, as opposed to, well, am I part of 25th in Hawaii? Am I part of some unit in JBLM? So we had, and then all these little things. But when you have that, you have a capability that we could deploy, where in the past we just didn't. So right now, we don't know. I'd like to say, yep, this is what we're going to do. We just got to get you fully manned and equipped as an operational headquarters, and then we'll see. And like I said, I hope nobody really wants to go, hey, let's go deploy this to combat, because bad things will happen. But it just gives us another capability that we haven't had. Okay, since that's a good question for me. Any other questions you have for me? And I'm coming back to torture you some more.
There's talk SMA about the board coming up here in the long run.
Says the artillery guy to the artillery guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we talked about?
I'm
sure we talk about a lot of things.
No, we are SMA. Obviously, they got to work through FDU and work through the force design. But in the end, I'm tracking. The Army is looking at DeVarties across, and we are, so we'll be in line potentially to have a DeVarty up here.
Okay. So I've asked you all a lot about what do you think, but what about your families? You got families. What do you think they think about the patching?
I mean, I'll speak for me. I'm dual military SMA, so it was nice. My husband was out there as well. When we leave for work, when we come home, we both have different patches on. So today was a great thing to take off both patches, 425 and the Easter egg patch, and put the same patch on. So it kind of felt like we were coming together as a team, as a family, instead of having different patches, different organizations. So for me, I thought it was a great thing.
Oh, that's cool. Are you
That
about the
is
same
cool.
size? You can start wearing each other's uniforms?
He, he unfortunately cannot fit my uniform. He always tried to put my PT vest on, and I have to come hunt him down. I need my small one back. So no, unfortunately, but we do steal patches. So now we'll be able to steal each other's patches off our uniform when we can't find the other one. So I think that's going to be a struggle in our household.
Okay, well, that's cool.
That's all.
What do you think?
Honestly, SMA, I think it's great. Especially not just for me, but also for my soldiers. Having our families support us and understand what we do is such an important part of being a soldier. It's really critical. And by being, relabeled Arctic Airborne, they better understand exactly what our function is up here. And I think that helps them, be able to make those sacrifices and to support us when we are, going up to Delta Junction every single winter to freeze our toes off or go on another jump or
Just
whatever.
your toes or every piece of your body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still looking to get my left foot back, doesn't it?
Okay, good. I know, nobody here has strikers, but, what do you think? I asked, Sergeant Major, what do you think the soldiers feel about, getting rid of the strikers? I know how they felt. So I was at Fort Knox, and I may or may not have mentioned this before ahead of schedule. So quite a few months ago, I casually mentioned maybe we would take the strikers out of Alaska, and I got a round of applause. So it was like, they're like, yeah. What do you think from
So,
families?
Absolutely, SMA. I think overwhelmingly there is a lot of relief at having the strikers move out. The reality is they're not well suited for the Arctic environment. They're very difficult to maintain. They haven't been very mobile in that environment, and the ability for 111 now to be able to focus on their light infantry tasks and not have to worry about the maintenance and the headache that they've had to. And I think you've seen from your visits up there the incredible amount of money the Army has had to pour in between the heating shelters and the rest of it, just in an attempt to try to get them to operate in that environment. I think it's pretty clear to everybody, and definitely clear to the soldiers who are ready to go ahead and transition them out and move on as SMA.
Yeah, I got this, I was here last time in February, and believe it or not, the families, were like, Sergeant Major, these strikers. And when we went back, we had these conversations. I kind of tried to put this in perspective for everybody when we were having this conversation. I said, imagine that I spend a extremely long amount of time at work trying to fix a vehicle that does not operate in the cold. Yep. And then I come home late, or I'm working these weekends trying to fix the striker. And then my spouse is all mad. It's like, where you been? And he's like, well, I'm in working on the striker. And then you go to the field and it doesn't work, and it still doesn't work. And then it actually causes, issues at home, because I'm constantly trying to maintain a vehicle that doesn't work. And then I complain to my spouse gets mad, and eventually, this doesn't happen. My wife's still with me, but she leaves, right? Okay. For anything on Facebook, I am still married, and I do not have a Facebook account. So, and my relationship is not complicated. I've seen everything, so that is not me. I'm just telling you. But I've seen this is where I spend long hours working on a vehicle that's not designed for the Arctic. My wife gets upset. Then she says, "You know what? You're never here anyway." So I leave and I go back, and then then I'm drinking more. So I can really see this as really getting rid of those strikers is really to help for our resiliency. And now we still have to equip you with really cool gear for the Arctic. So you've got some really cool gear I saw last time too. It may have a different pattern, but we got to work on that too. So we still got a lot of things that we got to do. Get you the latest equipment we have for the Arctic. We got to work with PEO soldier.
Absolutely.
And if we just had the former PEO soldier, Sergeant Major, that was here, he could help us out.
He could help us out, and if his successor at PEO soldier wasn't the current 111,
there you go.
Then
so.
we might be in good shape. SMA, you're 100% on point. Obviously, I think that's true for anything. Is that when soldiers are not happy at work, that translates back to the house. Okay, all the assignments that my wife disliked the most out of my 30-year career have been the ones where I was the least happy at work, generally speaking. And obviously, the strikers do the same thing. And as far as the equipment goes, there's a raft of it coming. SMA. As you well know, there's a number of initiatives out there, both with cold weather clothing and with mobility, that we're working on right now, and we'll be using 111th and 211th, all right, to really pilot and look to be not incentivized, but to really lead in the direction of that Arctic. We're gonna go forward with that.
Yeah. I think before we close, I will say that there's some people that say, well, just because you're giving me a new patch, really, doesn't change the culture, doesn't change about how I feel about Alaska. But it goes to your point. You can really get behind something. You're gonna make this culture, but there's some tangible things we're doing to help. With all the things that we have up here, we're gonna fix your square track that we have up in Wainwright. We're gonna make it round. Until then, maybe cut the corners. But we're trying to give you that identity. But there's a lot more behind it. But one thing that I would ask you all is, you own the culture. And that story today, when you look back 40 years from now and you're talking about the 11th Airborne Division, and your kids are, and you can be proud of that. And, that culture, you own that. the vehicles and all the other stuff, that's gonna be up for us to figure out where you go, how we're gonna deploy it. That's not even me, you know, that's somebody else who's gonna figure this all out. But that culture down in the unit, you own it. And when you put that patch on, you gotta be just prideful that this is, I'm part of something bigger than myself. And is that the culture that's in my unit every day, everything that I do, from the PT to lunch to, you know, dinner and everything in between, and all the field and all the cold, you know, you can be proud of that. Be a badge, and it'll be a badge of honor that you should wear proudly. I'm really proud to be here with you today. Thanks for joining me, and for anybody listening on the internet, and I really appreciate everything that our Army is doing for our country. And this is just one step forward for the United States Army. So thank you.
Cool. Arctic Tough.
Arctic Tough. Arctic Angel.
Arctic Angel.
Yeah.
Oh, Arctic Angel.
That's